Good afternoon and good evening to everyone out there, depending on where you're logging into this webinar. Thank you very much for joining us. Welcome to this webinar. So this is the Meet the Masters series, and this webinar focuses specifically on the Master of Biotechnology. Before we do begin, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we gather this evening and pay our respects to their elders, past and present. So my name is Justin, and I'm based in the Faculty of Medicine, Nursing, Health Sciences here at Monash University in Australia. With me today, I have a couple of colleagues. So we have Dr. Chow Kyong, who is the course coordinator for the Master of Biotechnology. And we're also very lucky to be joined by a current student who is Jasminta. So thank you guys for joining us. You'll hear a little bit more from them in just a moment. So just a little bit of an agenda and I suppose some housekeeping just so you can follow this presentation or this webinar and keep an eye on what we'll be presenting to you. So yeah, in a moment, I'll hand over to the course coordinator for the Master of Biotechnology, Dr. Chow Kyong, who will go through a bit more about the course structure and a little bit more about the course and also what you learn in the course and the career outcomes. We'll also hear from Jasminta to get the student perspective, which is always beneficial for prospective students thinking about the course. And then finally, we can do some question and answer with you as well. So if you do have any questions you would like to ask during the webinar, please use the question and answer box so that we can then read your question and we'll likely come back to the questions at the end. We'll have a little bit of a session where we can come back to the questions at the end once the presenters have finished talking and giving an overview. So with that, I'm going to hand over to Dr. Chow. Over to you.
Thank you. I'm just going to share my screen. Can everybody see my screen okay? Yeah. Okay, thank you. I'm just going to give you a brief overview about the Master of Biotechnology and also a bit about the career outcomes as well. So for those of you who might not know what biotechnology is, so it's basically technology that harnesses biological processes to develop products that can improve our lives. And within biotechnology, there are several areas such as environmental or agriculture biotechnology, but our course specifically focuses on medical biotechnology, which is about the use of biological processes to research and develop products that can help to diagnose, prevent, and treat diseases. So our course integrates medical biotech and entrepreneurship through a range of multidisciplinary coursework, research, and work integrated learning units across year 1 and 2. And I'll go into more detail about these later on. So if you want to access the course handbook, you can go to the Monash website and search for Master of Biotechnology, or you can also visit this link to access the course handbook. So the structure of the course you can access you can view in detail on the online course handbook, but I'm just going to give you a brief overview now. So as I briefly mentioned, in year 1 and so in year 1, in semester 1 and 2, you will be completing a core unit in areas of medical biotech such as advanced genetics, data science, regenerative medicine. And then there will also be some business units as well to give you an overview of how you can commercialize different biotech products. And the units will also talk about startup fundamentals and related areas in biotech business, which you might find useful later on if you move into industry after the course. And then in year 2 of the course, you can have 2 options. You can either complete the coursework pathway, which involves a 5 to 6 month work integrated learning program, plus electives in relevant areas of studies. Or you can complete a full year research pathway, And for those of you who are familiar with the honors program, so basically this is equivalent to an honors year. So we really prioritize hands-on experience in our course, and we try to provide you with as much hands-on training as possible. So this is achieved via a range of practical classes within the core units in year one, and then in year two is mostly hands-on. So as mentioned before, you'll be doing a 5 to 6 month work integrated learning program, which is also commonly known as the industry placement program. And of course, the full year research unit you'll be working in the lab with a research group towards a research project. So in terms of the industry areas that our students have completed our work integrated learning in, so this involves medical regulatory affairs, clinical trials, keeps jumping, clinical trials, market analysis, business development, and a lot of different fields within the biotech and pharmaceutical industry that you can do a placement in. And some of our past and current industry partners include VCCC, Extractor Bioscience, CCRM, in case you would like to look them up to find out more about the companies and what they're doing. And the good thing about our placement program is you can also, if you want to, you can also arrange your own placement with a suitable organization in the biotech industry. And you just need to run the placement by me so I can make sure that it's in a suitable field. So in terms of professional development opportunities, we try to invite guest speakers from the biotech industry to give you guest lectures and seminars. And then we will also have some seminars regarding careers in academia and industry during the course as well. So for those of you who are not sure whether you want to do research or work in industry, hopefully this will give you some insight so that you can choose the appropriate pathway of study in year two. And then we will have workshops to both help you with your applications for your industry placement as well as for jobs after you finish the course. So the key course outcomes are in this day and age when there's artificial intelligence that can tell you a lot of information about things, we prioritize skills such as critical thinking, problem solving, and professional written and oral communication, as well as collaborative work, which are the skills that employers usually value. And you will gain experience in both the biotech research and enterprise in year one and two. And if you complete the research unit in year two with an average of 70% or higher, you will also be eligible for entry into the PhD program. So in terms of our graduate career outcomes, so our past students are currently working in areas that I briefly talked about before that people also complete during their industry placement. So I'd just like to mention that you don't have to do the industry placement in order to work in industry. A lot of our research students, after they finish their research project, they also decided that they would like to work in industry. So a lot of our past research students are also working in these areas in industry. And then, of course, we have past students who are now doing a PhD in biomedical or clinical research. And some of our students are also working as teaching associates as well. So just briefly about the entry requirements. So the prerequisite is you need to have a sufficient background in bioscience. So this usually means that you need to have a major in one of the fields of bioscience. So this can be biomedical science, pharmaceutical science, etc. And there's quite a long list of eligible fields, and you can find out more about them by visiting this link and clicking on the entry requirements. So I'll send my slides to Justin later on, and maybe he can distribute them to you, and then you can access the link. Yep, and that's all from me. So now I'm going to hand over to Jasminta. Yeah. So I'll just stop sharing my screen.
Can you guys see my screen?
Not yet.
Yeah,
Oh
now
yeah,
we
I
can.
see
Yep.
it now. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So hi guys, I'm Jasminta and I'm going to be talking to you about my experience of the Masters of Biotechnology course at Monash. So I'll start off with the first year, followed by the second year and potential careers that you can do in the second year after you finish the biotechnology course. So in the first year, you will learn theory and practical skills in biotechnology related courses, as well as learning the process of obtaining research funding and how you will translate a pharmaceutical drug from the lab to the market and get it onto the pharmacy shelf. So some of the topics I really liked was the pharmacology unit, particularly the way it was taught, commercializing biomedical science. It considered the industry context in terms of which biotechnology can be commercialized. It was definitely different, but I really liked it. And also the advanced genetics unit, which in terms of like the writing project proposals, it was very handy in that sense. The entrepreneurship unit, where you get to learn about startups, and I think this one is really useful, sorry. If you want to start your own business one day, be it online or a small pharma company. And the research placement gave me the opportunity to learn essential laboratory skills and techniques. So now moving on to some of the different types of learning activities that you can do. So don't dismiss these assessments as, oh, I have to get this done. These activities will enable you to gain skills which you will use in your future careers. You will learn, you'll do quite a lot of oral presentations, which will improve your verbal communication and teamwork skills. With assignments, it assesses your written communication as well as your critical thinking skills. So the workshops are really fun and engaging, and I encourage you to attend them. You get to make lots of friends, and it will also improve your interpersonal and problem-solving skills. The practicals you perform will allow you to gain the technical and laboratory skills, and when analyzing your data during report writing, it will improve your analytical skills. So as part of one of the units, I did the research lab placement. If you do get to do this placement, and you would like to do research in the future, make the most out of this opportunity. Get to know what projects are there and get to know what projects are there and what areas of research you're particularly interested in. From this experience, I sort of knew that I wanted to explore other opportunities in the industry. So as you know, in the second year, if you get a WAM greater than 70%, you can either pursue the industry pathway or the research pathway. The research pathway is year-long, and the industry pathway is 6 months. So I did my will placement at St. Vincent's Hospital, Melbourne as a clinical trial assistant. It was full-time and it was for 6 months. It was quite demanding. And my will project consisted of 3 major ones, including the National Clinical Trials Governance Framework project and the annual reporting process and the St. Vincent's Hospital Melbourne research strategy. So starting off with the National Clinical Trials Governance Framework. So the purpose of this was to ensure that clinical trials are conducted in a safe manner and in a high quality manner for improved health outcomes for the patients and the community. And the reason it was really important was that it's mandatory for all public and private hospitals to provide a clinical trial service to undergo an independent accreditation assessment. So this is the user guide that details all of that. And so one of my tasks that I did during my placement was this is the website. On the right, that's the final result, and on the left is my draft. So I had to create like an informational resource page about what the National Clinical Trial Governance Framework is, so that both internal and external users could understand and follow along. This is another little video that I made for internal users, but it is also on their public website. So just shows researchers how you would log in and find and how you would sort of navigate your way on this new platform that we call SAGE. So this is the annual progress reporting setup. So this was another task I had to do. I had to attend regular meetings, create these milestones on the SAGE internal portal. I also completed email templates for when they were for different stages along this process. Created a poster as well as some email queries. And over here, you can see that I'm using SAGE to create these milestones for submission of either the progress or the final report, which is the HREF report, or the site progress or closure form, the RGO. On the left-hand side, you can see this is sort of problem solving. You're using problem solving skills in trying to locate why they're not able to, for instance, do whatever, submit their research, their report on SAGE. So again, problem solving skills are required there. And this is just a poster that I did just to make it easy for the researchers to understand how to locate and finish off their and reports. So this is the third project that I had to do, and it was about driving the St. Vincent's research strategy forward. So this was mainly event management, and this required organizing and coordinating clinical trial awareness weeks events, which included making event briefs, attending meetings, and also organizing panel discussions alongside just sort of being able to organize the other two events, which was the photo event and the Research Coordinators Appreciation Day coffee. So that was all within 1 week, by the way. These are the banners I created to promote the event. On this right-hand side, this is also an advertising little blurb that I sent by email to SVHM users. And on the left, you can see these ones are event briefs that were sent to the speakers, the panel discussion speakers that were going to speak on the 2 different days. I also got the opportunity to go to the Digital Health Festival. This is our team on the left, and it was definitely a great experience. And these are some potential careers that you could do after you finish the course. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thanks, Jasmine. So that was a really good presentation. Thank you for sharing that with us and with the audience that we have online. I've got a few questions which I'll come back to you in a moment and ask. I think the first question I just wanted to ask you, Jasmine, is could you maybe tell us a bit about your background? Maybe some of the other students in the audience, they might be thinking, oh, how did you actually get into, the Master of Biotechnology? What was your background? Were you deciding between different courses, or did you know exactly that you wanted to do biotechnology? Yeah, it'd be interesting just to see how you got to where you are, and obviously you've done very well in the course because you've done the internship at a big brand, and yeah, be interested to know a bit more.
Yep. So I started off with a Bachelor of Biomedical Science. So I also completed that at Monash. And then I applied to get into the Masters of Biotechnology course, and I was successful. So it wasn't, before this, I sort of had a gap year just to wait it out and just to see what I wanted to do. And then I chose to do the Masters.
Oh, good one, good one. And could you maybe tell us another question, Jasmine, maybe a little bit, I know you've obviously done that internship which you went through, which was great because, that's effectively 25% of your entire course. But for the other, like in the first year, for example, could you maybe run through what a typical week would look like? I know it's a tricky question because when you go from subject to subject, it can be different, but just to give prospective students some idea of what they may be in for in terms of contact hours, the homework they have to do, wet and dry labs, practical versus theoretical. Be cool to get some insights into that area too from your perspective, a current student. Yeah.
Yep. So during the first semester, it was quite there wasn't a lot of contact hours. The most, I think there was about roughly 10 hours or 10 to 15 contact hours. So it was more relaxed, I would say. I could better manage my time. I was more flexible, especially with work and life balance. But when semester 2 came, I think everything just got a bit harder, and I think second semester was definitely harder, and each week there was a few things due each week, so you had to manage your time well and try and balance, have a good work-life balance. Yeah.
Good one. And Chow, maybe a question for you. I've got a question here. We saw in the slides in Jasmin's presentation actually that, once the students complete all the core units in year 1, they then make that decision, if they've got the 70% average to either do the research year or the internship plus the electives. What happens if they want to do the internship? Like, how does our biotechnology team help them in being, placed into an organisation or a research institute, number one, and number two, does the student have any choice, or is it just sort of allocation based on, the subjects they've studied?
Yeah. So basically, when the students are nearing the end of when the students are nearing the end of their first year, or when they're about to enroll into the placement unit, I provide them with a list of available projects from industry, and then they can apply for those projects.
Yeah.
And the selection process is done by the organization. So
okay, yeah. So they kind of still go through some sort of interview process anyway.
Yeah,
with the,
exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So it's like a job. Yeah.
Yeah. So we do have workshops to help students with the CV, cover letter writing, and interview. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good. Really good. Yeah, because I mean that's obviously a real key feature of our course, that opportunity to do the the internship or the research year. What we saw there, I mean, St. Vincent's Hospital that Jasmine has done her placement, they're obviously very well recognised. It's a very big brand in Melbourne. Everyone, if you've lived in Melbourne, everyone kind of knows that brand. What other sort of examples would we have, Chow, of maybe institutes or research centres or organisations where some of our students have gone to?
Yep, so we have BCCC, which is another organization that does clinical trials. And then we have CCRM, which stands for the Center of Commercializing Regenerative Medicine. And we have a range of other things in the regulatory medical affairs field, and also in business development in biotech and market
Yeah.
analysis. So yeah.
Cool. And Chad, just an extension of that, if one of our students was interested because they'd looked on our website, at the Australian Regenerative Medicine Institute at ARMY, and they were perhaps interested in doing some sort of research or placement there, what are their chances, and what sort of process would they have to go through if they were really interested in stem cells and regenerative medicine, for example?
Yeah, so we have plenty of lab groups at ARMY that students can work with. So in year one, there's a short 4-week placement where the students get allocated to one of the lab groups for a 4-week lab-based placement. So this will give them a taste of what research is like. And then in year two, if they choose to do the research project, then they'll be doing 9 months of research, and
Yeah. Wow.
they can apply for any of the labs. And once again, the selection process is done by the supervisor and the labs. Yeah.
Yep. Very good. And back to you, Jasmine. So I noticed when we saw the course structure earlier that when you do the internship, you've still got what we say 24 credit points of electives to choose. Is that what you're doing now? And if so, how did you go about choosing your electives? What were your options, I suppose, and what was your rationale behind choosing the electives that you chose? Did you go for some that are related, or did you choose some that are maybe, not necessarily related directly to what you're doing? Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm completing the 4 electives at the moment. One of them that I have chosen is about research ethics, and it's very similar to the work that was done in the HREC research office. So it was very applicable, and I'm quite enjoying that unit. And there is actually a list of different units that you can take, the electives, and you can also take the BEX units, which is the entrepreneurship units. Again, in second year, is that correct, Chow?
Yes.
Yeah. You can take that again, which I think is really beneficial, because if you've sort of got, if you're doing this course with the entrepreneurship sort of interest in it, I think it's really good to explore the different units, the BEX units available. Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Very good. And I noticed you said one of the things that you liked in the course was the workshop exercises. Can you tell us a bit more about what sort of happens in the workshop exercises?
Yeah, so in the workshops, you are seated in whichever table you can sit. So I remember that for one of the units, we used to sit at different tables. So we meet new people, and we get to make new friends. So basically, you just run through. You would have already done preliminary sort of work to that workshop, and you come in prepared with the knowledge. And in that workshop, you do a few activities, and you get feedback from them and feedback from the teachers, and you have discussions around them, and then there's sort of like a summary where it sums it up. Yeah.
Yep, fabulous. All right, very good. Well, thanks very much to both of you, Chow and Jasmita, for your insights. I think maybe just one final question from me would be, and I guess this applies to both of you, if we've got prospective students there thinking about, entering into this course, what would be like a piece of advice you would give them? Maybe firstly, we'll start with you, Chow.
In terms of doing well in the course, I think it's all about time management and attending classes. Like Jasmine said, it's good to attend classes because you can make friends and then you can form study groups and work on your assessments together and help each other when you can. But also when it comes to time management, during the semester, and like Jasmine said, sometimes it's quite intense and there are a lot of things due, especially towards the end of semester. So basically, it's just planning in advance to make sure that you have enough time to do your assessments and not leaving things to the last minute. Yep. And also another thing would be to be proactive. So in year one, even though you haven't entered year two, you can still speak to your lecturers who would be researchers as well as members, as well as people who are working in industry, and just to find out as much as you can. Yeah, so you can make an informed decision which pathway you would like to choose in year two.
That's good advice. Thank you. And what about you, Jasmine, as a student? What sort of advice, if your prospective students were coming into the course, what would be some good recommendations that would help them be successful in the course? Yeah.
Yeah. So before I started this course, I did I read through the handbooks and I did a quick search and looked at what the units that were offered. And to be successful in this course, I think just better time management and getting just planning yourself and organizing yourself well and knowing what you like, what you don't like. So then that can sort of better inform you for second semester, for second year. And yeah.
Good one. Good one. Excellent. Well, I'd like to thank you both for joining us and taking time out of your evening, Dr. Chow Kyong, the course coordinator, and Jasmine, our current student. It was really, really great to have both perspectives, an academic telling us about the course and the structure and what the students will learn, and also Jasmine, who's actually currently in the course and doing an internship and doing the electives. So thank you very much. It was great to have your insights. I'd also like to say thank you to all the attendees that joined us tonight. It was really nice that you've taken time out of your study or your day to listen to our my key colleagues, about our course, and I hope that you found this informative. You'll see on the screen here, I've just left you with a few reference points. So the website is a good starting point, that biotechnology course link, because that will link you to a handbook, the unit handbook, where you find all the subjects we've discussed. It'll take you to the course flyer and you can read about all the assessments in the individual subjects. YouTube, we will put this recording up on YouTube in the following days. So that's why the Monash Uni MNHS, which stands for Medicine, Nursing, Health Sciences, is always a great resource for you to use. And if you want to, hear some stories from our students and see what's happening at Monash, you've got the Instagram Monash account as well. So thank you once again. We hope to see some of you at Monash in the future. And thank you very much for listening. Goodbye.
Thank you. See you. Bye.